Welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Jake Gordon and Alex Lord. Ronald Acuna is back in 2023, and he looks like the best version of himself. Maybe even better than the guy we saw pre-injury. Now, it's still early. Sample size is small, but the guy's hitting, 393 so far. There's 389 so far this season. 1047 OPS. He's got 7 steals. He's got 3 homers. He's leading the league in runs, hits. There's just nothing the guy can't do right now, and he's on fire. So is he ever going to cool down? He's got to cool down a little, but what should we expect the rest of the season from this kid?
Whew, does he have to cool down? I don't know. I mean, I guess if history isn't going to be written this season, then I guess he is going to cool down a bit. But one thing I've really been impressed with too is his eye. His eye is back to where it was. We talk about I think his confidence plays a part in that. He's feeling healthy, and so he's already got 9 walks on the year. And from the leadoff spot, that's huge, especially with a guy with his kind of speed and with the guys hitting behind him. You got Matt Olson, Sean Murphy, Austin Riley, all those guys behind him. If he's just getting on base, he doesn't have to be a 40-40 guy. I certainly hope he is, because that would be really sick. But the kid just looks so electric. He looks like he's having fun. He looks healthy. And this is something we talked about going into the season. We said people have forgotten about Ronald Acuna Jr. because he was playing last year what was essentially a bum leg. And now the guy's back reminding people who he is, and who he is probably going to be the MVP of the NL if he keeps this up.
Yeah, I said it during the offseason when it was somewhat quiet and we were like, are we going to do anything other than the Sean Murphy trade? And I was like, there is no acquisition out there that could match Ronald Acuna being fully healthy. And now we're seeing it. I didn't capitalize on that enough. I should have clipped that up. But yeah, I mean, he's back, and it's not just his offense. I mean, everything is back. The dude's making plays in the field. He's a menace on the base pass. I mean, scoring from first regularly, like once a week, it feels like, throwing guys out. I mean, he's one of the most exciting players in the game. And right now, he's certainly the hottest guy in the game.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I don't see anybody that will really compete with him in the NL MVP race if he stays healthy. I just if you go back to 2021 before he suffered the torn ACL, and he was on pace for something around 40-40, but he was looking a lot like this guy, but maybe not even as, I don't even know if it's as good as the guy we've seen this year. Regardless, though, a lot like this guy. I mean, he was on his way to 9-10 WAR in a season, which very few players have ever done. That's only something that Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, and Aaron Judge have done. He was on that path, and he's on that path right now, leading the league in F4. If he stays healthy, he's winning the NL MVP. It's not close. No one in the National League is on his level. Maybe Mookie Betts. I say maybe Mookie Betts, but he hasn't really played at that level in a couple of years. But Mookie Betts and him are really the only people there. Bryce Harper, he's been injured. He's still not on that level, even he's healthy. Juan Soto hasn't looked like the same guy with the Padres. I don't even know who else. I mean, Pete Alonso, give me a break, bro. No chance. I don't even really know who else would be in the conversation. If he stays healthy, he is going to rack up WAR at such a ridiculous pace because of all the things you said, Alex. He is great in every aspect of the game. And, dude, he's hitting 10-mile ground balls all the time. If he starts elevating those, and he doesn't need to because he's having a lot of success. If he starts elevating those, he's going to be hitting 40 homers. No problem. I mean, the guy's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, we could go through the odds. Ronald Acuna is by far the favorite. I mean, he's at plus 350, the best odds I see. And the next guy is Pete Alonso at plus 800. Trey Turner's at plus 900. So, yeah, I mean, even this is a teeny tiny sample size. And these odds are reflective of the entire year. They take everything into account, including injuries, which Ronald has dealt with. And they see it as, I don't want to say running away with it just yet, but odds would tell me he's going to run away with it.
I mean, they see it as if he plays 130 games, he's winning the damn thing.
Yeah.
It's basically can he stay healthy? Those plus 300 are baked in because he's been injured almost every season of his career and missed 20 plus games. If he stays healthy, they see it as he's going to run away with this thing. I mean, that's really what it is.
Jake, your future's looking pretty nice.
Yeah, I got him. I got Strider. That's, I got him at great value too. I just knew that he was going to come back out and be the old Ronald. And I think a lot of people were just really underestimating the player that he was before that injury. And, even last year, he was still one of the better outfielders in the league when injured. If he stays healthy this year, I mean, we're in for a real treat.
Yeah, dude, last year his numbers were bad for him, but they were still some people would be like, "Oh, dude, I would love to have that kind of year. That would be a career
love
year
to have,
for me."
I would love to have
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's what we're talking about. The expectation for him is so high that we saw him just struggle a little bit. I mean, we saw Mets fans like comparing him to Brandon Nimmo or who plays the right field? Is it Marte?
Starling Marte.
Yeah, dude, what the hell are we
they
talking
were
about?
genuinely convinced Brandon Nimmo is on the same level as Ronald Acuna Jr. And I can't tell you how stupid you have to be to actually believe that, but they are so stupid they actually believe crap like that. And this is why I have problems with Mets fans, because they're idiots. They can't look at their roster and just accurately judge it. And I get it, man. I remember when the Braves were stuck in those years, 2018, where we were making the playoffs, but we weren't quite good enough. And I kept trying to convince myself the roster was better than it was. Now that I have a roster every year that is the best on paper in the league, outside of maybe one other team every year, I don't have to convince myself of those crazy things like Brandon Nimmo is better or as good or even in the same conversation as Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah, it was like facing those Dodgers teams and like being scared. You just kind of had to convince yourself, hey, we kind of had a chance. We never really had a chance. We're those guys now where teams are going to be like, yeah, well, if we can get through that guy, it's like, no, when this team is healthy, I mean, there's no holes.
Marte is just as good as Ronald Acuna. Yeah. Those are like even. They put like the equal sign in the side-by-side lineups. It's like, you know what it's like? You know what it's like? Hawks fan TV. And I have to bring him straight up. When he's like does the little like side by side with the Celtics, and he's like, "Oh, this could be an even matchup, like greater than less." And I'm like, "Bro, stop!"
We're getting swept.
like one that's not even how the game works.
Yeah.
Shout out Hawks fan TV. I love your enthusiasm. I love how you've been able to stick through this ride. So
he's in that 2018 Braves mentality, and soon we'll come on the other side.
Maybe the Hawks will be on the other side eventually, but. Yeah, Ronald Acuna is going to have a great season this year. I don't see any way he doesn't win the MVP if he doesn't stay healthy.